In a game as fast, chaotic, and frantic as Melee, it's no secret that the game's technical depth has become its greatest appeal. Fox McCloud, for example, while not the fastest character in the game, allows for some incredibly impressive tech. Wave Shining Peach back and forth on FD, Multi-Shining, Shine into Wave Dash grab, Chain grabs, and an up smash that absolutely obliterates the entire cast. And while Fox has certainly become quite the spectacle to watch, if you ask any Melee player who the lamest character in the game might be, you'll probably get a similar answer. It's a character who's the ultimate test of patience, a glass cannon capable of killing or being killed in an instant. Basically the polar opposite of what Fox stands for. A character so oppressive at times that people have seriously suggested banning her from competition. I'm of course referring to... While sure, she definitely isn't everybody's least favorite character, all of this hatred that's surrounded her for so many years now starts to raise an important question. What is it that makes her so bad? In Melee, characters have many different ways they can move around. Walking, dashing, wave dashing, dash dancing, moonwalking, tricks that pretty much are Melee and have become a staple to this game's identity. It's no secret that the preferred way of playing this game is by utilizing these techniques in creative ways, pushing for speed and precision at all times, which is why it can feel kind of strange when someone decides to play the complete opposite way, basically going against the grain of what most would think Melee represents. All of this to say, there's one character in the game who embodies this playstyle better than anyone else, and it's of course the balloon Pokemon herself, Jigglypuff. Now, it's not that she doesn't take any skill to play. In fact, because of her glass cannon nature and deceptively simple toolkit, reaching a high level with Puff in many ways requires just as much skill as any other top tier. But where she truly stands out is in what she doesn't require: mastery of complicated techniques. At least, not the same amount of them. Compared to the lightning fast inputs of characters like Fox or Falco, for instance, blazing across the screen at top speeds, Puff's mastery instead comes from patience, careful positioning, and outspacing her opponents. The reason she can play like this so effectively is partly thanks to her aerial drift, or how freely she can move left or right while in the air. Puff has the best aerial drift in the game, allowing her to move in and out of danger like no one else. She can bait an attack, drift back to safety, and almost instantly retaliate with some kind of aerial. And this level of control over the skies is what allows her to dictate the pace of a match. This isn't a benefit that's shared by many, as having this level of volatility off the ground is pretty much only reserved for a few characters. And this brings me to my next point: edgeguarding. As we all know, characters can recover in Melee by pressing up and B while off stage. Well, most of them. And predicting how your opponent will recover and sending them back off stage is what we like to call edge guarding. You're literally guarding the edge. A character's ability to edge guard effectively is a huge part of competition, as it greatly influences their ability to close out stocks. And while characters like Sheik and Marth are arguably the best at it, Jigglypuff in particular isn't too far behind. Because of a developer oversight, Jigglypuff's back air was given an extremely disjointed hitbox, meaning it stretches way beyond her actual model. This can make it deceptively hard to try and contest at times, because sometimes what looks like a missed attack can still clip you from a distance you weren't ready for. And by combining this one single move with her 6 jumps and incredible aerial drift, Puff is able to edgeguard unlike any other character in the game.
Oh wow, the up air got Fox off stage, followed up immediately with the downer. That was a crazy setup for that edge guard, and now it's 4 stocks to 2. Yeah, again, no shot. No shot. And he's dead again!
Not only that, but because of her rising pound, a move that gives her vertical height while moving forward, she's able to chase her opponents all the way down to the blast zone and still make it back on stage, a luxury very few characters can say they have. And while the benefits of having so much airtime and flexibility off the stage are undoubtedly very strong, it's not like she doesn't have any downsides. For starters, she's the second lightest character in the game, only behind Pichu, and because of that, she can die at ridiculously early percents. On Yoshi's story, for instance, a single Fox up smash is able to finish her stock at around 57%, even with DI. To put that in perspective, eliminating Fox's clone, Falco, on the same exact stage requires requires him to be around 96%, a pretty sizable difference all things considered. Her overall lightness and fragility makes her extremely susceptible to some of the game's strongest moves. Marth F Smash, Falcon Knee, Sheik Forward Air, Roy's Up B, they can all spell serious danger for a character like Puff, making her a vulnerable target.
This game 2 of set 1.
Absolutely no mercy from Wizrobe is taking this straight to the bank, demolishing Hungrybox's mental.
Triple D! And a clean 4-stock from Rizrobe, and Hungrybox does not look too happy with the way things are turning out right now.
When was the last time you saw Hungrybox 4-stocked? Oh my gosh, it's been
a while. It's been a minute.
One other downside to her, though, is her difficulty on the ground. Having one of the worst dashing speeds in the game, an opponent that remains grounded and plays very passively can be really difficult for her to contest, as she tends to prefer staying in the air as much as possible. And having these downsides of being such a fragile character with a ground game that leaves much to be desired, it makes you start to wonder, what's so redeeming about her as a character? And the answer is simple: rest.
I'm done. Yep. Don't taunt me, you fucking bitch. How about that? How about that, you stupid fuck?
Perhaps one of the most iconic moves in the game, Rest, is Jigglypuff's down B special, and at first glance it seems kinda useless. I mean, falling asleep? What kind of utility is that supposed to have? The thing is though, this move secretly has a very small hitbox on the inside of the character, requiring you to basically be in your opponent's face for it to connect. And anyone unfortunate enough to get caught by this hitbox likely isn't gonna make it out alive. Put simply, Rest is essentially Puff's X Factor, making her far and away the most explosive character in the game. Having the ability to kill almost anybody in a single hit causes every opponent she goes against to be wary of how they approach, as one single mistake could genuinely cost them an entire stock. This can make any game that involves Puff feel scary, especially when the Puff player knows their matchups, as certain setups are often used to ensure that Rest can be connected. Up throw Rest on Spaceys, pound into Rest, up tilt into Rest on characters like Marth, and while a lot of these setups can be escaped in one way or another, it still requires the receiving player to have fast enough reflexes to react in time. And that's a tall ask for the very little technical input required from the Puff. In fact, it's this sheer lack of a high skill floor that makes Puff so frustrating to try and go against. It's just not a conventional playstyle in a game like Melee. I saw a post on Reddit from 2 years ago asking why people hate Jigglypuff so much, and in my opinion, one user spelled it out the best. Quote, "Puff is perhaps the most ego-crushing character in the game. People get so hung up on how sick Melee is sometimes that they can't accept that an easier character is beating them. And honestly, this sentiment reigns true in a lot of cases. In a game where falcons are flying around kneeing each other over and over again, sitting back and trying to catch an airborne Puff while also having to worry about rest may not be someone's preferred way of enjoying the game. This doesn't have to mean that Puff players are doing anything wrong by playing the character either, but it's an unfortunate reality that the game's notoriety for speed and technicality is somewhat working against itself in the case of this character. I think it goes without saying that Puff, as a character, certainly is the opposite of Fox. Characters like Puff at the end of the day still are Melee, even if it's not the Melee everyone else may envision. In her own quiet way, Puff is there to remind us that Melee doesn't have to be confined by its technicality. She represents the many different ways you can still find success. And maybe this lack of one-dimensionality is part of what makes this game feel so timeless. The fact that no matter who you play, and no matter how you play it, there's always success to be found in your own style. Whether or not she's truly the lamest character in the game is pretty much impossible to say, but maybe that question is missing the point, because Puff isn't just around to be loved or hated, she's here to be Melee.